Greetings, Fright fans, and welcome into day 14 of our Halloween countdown. We're counting down 31 Mad Scientist Monsters Run Wild movies. Having a good time with this one. Yesterday we looked at an episode of Boris Karloff's thriller called The Incredible Dr. Markison, which if you haven't ever seen, I highly recommend checking that one out. It's a good one. So let's see what we're going to look at tonight. Tonight is a really fun one. Another series. Tonight we're going to look at the entire series of The Fly. One of the first mad science films I ever saw was The Fly, 1958. It's based on a short story by George Langeland that was originally published in Playboy magazine. The film version follows the story rather closely, telling of a scientist named Andre DeLame, played by David Hedison, who has invented a method of teleportation. He is able to disintegrate, transmit, and reintegrate objects from one teleportation booth into another. He successfully teleports several objects, then eventually tries it on himself. But a housefly accidentally gets into the pod with him, causing him to become a human-fly hybrid creature upon reintegration. His head and arm are replaced with those of a fly, and his consciousness is slowly slipping away. The makeup for the fly is fantastic, and the reveal is one of the great sci-fi moments of all time. Patricia Owens plays his wife Helene, and Vincent Price is his brother Francois. It was directed by Kurt Newman in 1958 and was a huge success. This was followed by a sequel the following year, Return of the Fly. Vincent Price reprised his role from the first film, and the story follows Andre DeLame's son Philippe, played by Brett Halsey, who recreates his father's experiments and ends up suffering a similar fate, also becoming reintegrated with a housefly through the teleportation device. It was directed by Edward Burns, but unlike the original, was shot in black and white. A third film was made in 1965, The Curse of the Fly. This one again follows the DeLame family. This time a father and son pair, Henry, played by Brian Donlevy, and his son Martin, played by George Baker. They have a teleportation booth in Quebec and another one in London. Another son, Albert, played by Michael Graham, is manning the London machines. They have successfully teleported people from one city to the other, but they've come out as deformed and mentally unbalanced. This story is told less of a horror movie and more of a cross of sci-fi and mystery, slowly unveiling the secret of the DeLame estate as the film progresses. It was directed by Don Sharp and once again filmed in black and white. In 1986, David Cronenberg directed an updated version of The Fly, with Jeff Goldblum as a scientist named Seth Brundle, who has created a means of teleportation, once again by disintegrating an object and reintegrating it in a pair of large pods. He successfully sends himself through the machine and then attempts it again for a reporter named Ronnie Quaife, played by Gina Davis. And once again, a housefly gets into the pod. This time around, the scientist slowly transforms into a human fly abomination. The special effects are the real star of this show, and the practical effects and makeup are impressive. A sequel was made in 1989, The Fly 2. This time around, the film follows the son of Seth and Ronnie, played by Eric Stoltz. Named Martin, the government keeps him in a research laboratory and has raised him there. He is highly intelligent and doesn't need to sleep. He is also aging rapidly. Unknown to Martin, the facility has been lying to him, keeping his family history a secret, and is also trying to recreate his father's invention. All the while, Martin is slowly mutating into a human fly monster. Directed by Chris Wallace, this is an interesting sequel to the Cronenberg hit film that you don't hear people talk about that much. Overall, I really like all of these. The original is my favorite, of course, as it's a science fiction classic. Plus, it has Vincent Price. But I really like the Cronenberg remake as well. Cronenberg has a real thing for body horror and made an absolute 80s gem with this one. I'd recommend the entire series. The Fly series is one of the most creative science fiction series out there. I love it from first to last. I love every one of them. They're really good. They haven't managed to ruin this franchise yet like they do with so many of them. I don't know if we'll get any more remakes, but it wouldn't surprise me at some point if somebody decides to. But I tell you, David Cronenberg did such a good job relaunching the second, new Fly. He took the Vincent Price classic and put a complete different spin on it. And I mean, Cronenberg and body horror, that's the perfect matchup there. So I will definitely go ahead and have to give this one a full 5 skulls because the Fly series is great. I love the Vincent Price movie. That's one of those that I saw again at an early age as a kid and it blew my mind. Love it. But I saw the Cronenberg one in the theater. Love it too. I even love The Fly too. I think that's a good one. It's probably not quite as good as The Fly, Cronenberg's Fly, but it's really good. And then Revenge of the Fly and Curse of the Fly are both fun watches as well. Curse is really weird and gets out there into some different territory, but that's what you got to do if you're going to do a third sequel. That third one's always the oddball. You get the first, you set the mold for it, and that's where you set the series, you make the mold, you create it. The second one is always the follow-up to the first one, so it's still got some juice from the first one, and it's easier to keep that energy going. It's always that third one where things fall off, but in a series like this, if you're going to do it right, you got to get creative. I mean, think about this one. Think about Indiana Jones, that third Indiana Jones movie. Got really creative. You had to do something different, and that's what they did here. So anyway, I like it. I like The Fly as a series. What do you guys think about it? You like this series? Which one's your favorite among them? Do you prefer the Vincent Price one, or do you prefer the Cronenberg one? Let me know what you guys think. And hey, 5 skulls for The Fly. Be sure and join me back here tomorrow night. We'll keep buzzing with more fun, mad science stuff then. Until tomorrow night, I'll meet you back here. It's a date. See you then.